Well, good evening, and thank you so much, Micah, for actually attending this forum this evening. Let me introduce myself. I'm Pam Fort of Speak Up and Vote, and
I am Sherry Williams of Speak Up and Vote also.
yes, and let me just sort of give you some background on us. We got together and we started a voter registration campaign, and with that, we wanted to tackle those people that was unrepresented, that was actually underserved, as we call it. So as we were out there, and we call it out there on the campaign trail, because as we were registering people to vote, we were also engaging with them. And so a lot of them had the same, they start, repeating the same information. They don't know who the people are. They don't know. And if they do know who they are, they don't know what they do. And most of all, what are they in it? What's in it for them? Why should they vote? So we thought it would be appropriate to start having some mini meet the candidates sessions with the candidates. So at least you all will be able to share some information with the constituents about who you are, what you do, and why you want to do it. And we thought that that was important. So,
it is.
Yeah, I think so. So if you can go ahead and start off, give you about a minute to introduce yourself and what brought you into this race.
I decided to run for this race because as I ran for a state race in 2018, I learned that a lot of people's concerns are on a county level. And I decided I wanted to help. And if that is where the concerns are, then I can do it. So I started watching some of the Will County Board YouTube videos of their actual meetings. And what I saw was the same thing I saw when I looked at the state representative videos. You've got one party over here, one party over here, and a big divide. And I don't feel that that is representing us. We have to get along. We have to work together, and we have to work for the people. They were having speakers come up and speak that had nothing to do with county issues. I saw state and federal issues, but I wasn't seeing a lot of the issues that the constituents have addressed to me being addressed in those meetings. And I thought, this is where I'm going.
There you go. Wonderful. Well, let me just also let the constituents out there know that we did invite Mark Ferry, which is a Democrat, and then Gerald Smith and Debbie Carlitos.
Correct.
We didn't get any response back from them. Okay, so just want to just put that out there. Okay, so with Micah, thank you for introducing yourself and sharing with the constituents, why you chose to actually run. So we're just going to jump right into the actual questions that we've actually put together.
Well, Pam, do you mind if I tell a little bit about myself?
Oh, sure. Go right ahead.
I told you why I wanted to run, but I didn't tell you who I am.
Okay, go right ahead.
I am, first and foremost, a wife. I am a mother. I am a grandmother. And I am a former teacher. My heart goes out to all teachers. I loved teaching, but I resigned from teaching to follow my husband's career. We moved around extensively for about 10 years. During that time, I volunteered in every school district that we lived in. I helped with remedial students, English language learners, and anything that the teachers needed help with. I jumped in, I helped with those. I am active with my church. I am also very active with a volunteer group called ParentWise out of Lurie's Children's Hospital in Chicago, which reaches out to parents who are getting ready for life-altering big surgeries with their children. And so I reach out to them and offer support. And so I am active in my community, and now I'm ready to get active in my county. So that's a little bit about me.
Thank you. Appreciate that. It's always nice to, find out the backstory of people. That's so important. So regarding the issues, what do you think is the biggest issue facing the county board? Well, let's say the biggest concern.
Oh, there's so many. Of course, there's always the budget.
Mhm.
The budget is, especially with the COVID-19 and the whole pandemic, I'm worried about the funds being there. The board is run on 6.5 cents of your taxed dollar. So those taxes aren't coming in. I'm concerned about what that's going to do to the board's budget. And I am a firm believer in what I call essential services.
Mhm.
The senior citizens home needs to be staffed well. The mental health facilities that the county is involved with, they need to be staffed well. And so I want to be sure that those type of things are not affected by COVID.
Very good. Very good.
So I have a question. With that in mind, being a former union representative, that means that the employees would have to do their jobs in order to keep these services going. So do you see any services lacking, that any layoffs or anything like that that might come about because of this?
I'm hoping not. The thing with, if you cut back on jobs, if you cut back on the staffing, then you reach into overtime. And it's actually more affordable to fill that position than it is to have someone working overtime. Then you're gone over budget, and then it's a crisis, and I would rather see those slots filled.
Great. So what role would you play in helping resolve that issue?
Oh, I would work as a team. Everybody's thoughts need to be on the table. How short are we? There's so many different variables that's going to go into that, but it's teamwork. Where can the money come from to make it possible? And that's all going to be when we sit down as a big group.
Mhm. Very interesting, to say the least.
It's going to be very interesting.
Hey, Sherry?
Well, I was just on that note, I'm hoping that you're able to reach across the aisle a little bit, because of course cooperation, I know the Democrats right now have the majority, but
Yes.
I don't know if just because you have the majority, should you just push it through? I think that everybody should be involved, and wondering what you feel about that.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, we all need to sit down and have that conversation. It's okay. So yes, the Will County budget is huge.
Yeah.
My household budget isn't as huge, but you can kind of come up with some similarities. And it's if you sit down as a family and you all say, okay, here's what we have. This is what we need. This is what we need. Then you can work it out. And I think that's going to be the same with the board. We just have to sit down and have that conversation. And I don't care where you live.
Mhm.
I don't care what party you're affiliated with. The important thing is the constituents of Will County. When you're elected, everything else should go away.
Well, I think you'll have to put your teaching skills to work in that situation. So, and mom and grandma skills as well.
Yes, definitely, definitely.
There's a lot
Wow.
of those skills that come in very handy.
Yes, it does. Okay, so what do you propose the board do with the revenue from the cannabis sales?
I would like to see, the state has guidelines already set up, and I agree with them with the social justice reform, the mental health. There's one more, I'll remember what it is. And then I would like to add education. When you look at what other states have done, I would like to see education in there as well. That's going to drive me nuts not being able to come up with that one.
Oh, that's okay.
Because
That's okay.
I got it here.
Hey, Sherry? It's okay.
Oh, the substance abuse. I knew I was
Okay,
substance.
no problem.
And I group that in with mental health, because it's, to me, if you are have an addiction, it's affecting you mentally. So
Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely.
We have had a lot of racial tensions across the country, and Will County is no exception.
Mhm.
And I was just wondering what the county board has done, and if anything, to address these issues.
I have actually learned that they have someone coming in to do a training specialist, and I think that that is highly important. As you said, the recent events have brought to light a whole bunch of disparities among our minority groups, and we can't adequately address or rectify any of those without having someone come and help us with those. I know that the park district has someone who's coming in and doing like empathy training and looking to see how they can get people of color interested in coming to work for the park district,
Okay.
and reaching out. There's so many areas that need addressed.
Yes.
And it's like, if I have a health problem,
Mhm.
I'm going to go to a specialist. I'm going to go to my doctor. If my doctor can't fix it, I'm going to a specialist.
Right.
Absolutely.
This is a problem, and it's been going on for a long time.
Yes, it has.
And I've seen it in classrooms it starts so little,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and it's ingrained in so many people. And we have to get that out of their systems. We have to show them all the injustices. And you can't do that without bringing in a specialist.
Now, when you mentioned bringing in a specialist, in what capacity? Like, I mean, was that something that was voted on? So, and what type of specialist?
With the board,
Mm-hmm.
I think they did vote on it. Don't quote me on that because
Okay.
I'm 100% certain.
Mhm.
But my running mate did tell me that they have someone coming in that's going to be talking to them and trying to train them in ethnic diversity.
Okay. Okay.
So this is the board itself that would be getting the training?
Yes, and then I talked to someone with the park district, and they had also said that they have someone coming in and they're going to be doing like an empathy training, and helping them dig a little bit deeper, I think. So I think that's going to be good.
Yeah, that'll be very interesting.
It's a start.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see them do that. Okay, so in your opinion, what has been your biggest accomplishment to date, personally and professionally?
Well, personally, it would definitely be my lovely children.
Mhm.
My daughter is in a master's program at Illinois State University. She
Mhm.
has 2 bachelors and a minor. She graduated with a 4.0 and no debt.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. She graduated from the University of Illinois in Springfield, and she is now working on her master's degree. And I have big hopes for her. My son is triple majoring. He is at ISU as well, Illinois State University. He's studying physics, computational physics, and math. So those are definitely accomplishments.
Mhm.
And then my bonus daughter has 2 lovely grandchildren, and I think we've done well. And as far as, what was the other part?
Professionally?
Professionally,
Mhm.
I taught 11 years in the same school district. I taught the 12th, almost a full 12th year. It was 3/4 of a year in a very, very tough school district in Maryland. It would be my teaching career. I loved it, and being able to touch and help all those kids. I taught 5th grade, which is my favorite grade of all, because they have personality, they get sarcasm a little bit, and I got to teach the Constitution. I love that part, teaching government and touching on things, that they typically didn't get to learn in a history book. Like Indians didn't get the right to vote until 1926. Little things meant a lot.
Mhm.
Helping them understand that maybe their textbooks weren't totally accurate.
Mhm. Mhm.
So,
Just a quick question, and we ask everybody this. What's your opinion on the nomination, for the Supreme Court Justice? Do you think that we should wait till after the election, or do you think it's something that we should, that the Senate should vote on now?
I think the people are already letting their voices be heard. They're coming out in droves to vote. And I think that with it being so close to the election, that they waited before the Senate did, and there was a lot more time. I think they should wait and let the people's voices be heard.
Sherry?
So, what do you think that the biggest challenges for the county board, and where do you see you guys going in the next few years?
Hopefully, we're going to go, I don't know how to say it, but I would like to see Will County as the destination for working families. I would love to see people coming here in just masses, because I know that when people are working, people tend to be happier. And when you have happier homes, you have less problems everywhere else. That's where I would like to see us go, is making it, I don't want to say bigger and better because we have borders, but I would like to see more things come in and more opportunities available.
Do you think that Will County is the place that people want to come to now?
I see a lot of people leaving, especially our senior citizens, and when I talk to them, they can't afford to stay here. They're like, I've retired, there's no way I can afford it here, I'm moving. A lot of it is just Illinois as a whole. But if we can help ease that and keep people here, that's a good thing too. Those challenges.
Yeah, definitely.
A big one. I mean, I'm hoping that that's possible, but I've lived here all my life, and I see that it's changed, and I can see people leaving.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we have to find a way to keep them here. It's important. And I come from about 4 hours south of here. Is my hometown. It's a little town called Christmas, Illinois. It doesn't have but like a population of like 1,000. And when I go back to visit my mother, it's so sad. When I first started teaching, I was teaching in Westville, Illinois, which is just a little south of Danville, Illinois, if you know where that is. And the factories were closing, people were unemployed. And now you drive through, it's sad to see what has happened. And we cannot let that happen here. I think that we are robust. We just have to keep it that way and make it so that there's lots of opportunities.
So how would that be done?
Bringing in jobs.
Well, they brought in the warehouses now, and those are jobs, but
Yes.
I wouldn't call them jobs, but they call them jobs.
Right. It is jobs for some people. It's not jobs for everyone. But it
I
is.
think being union again, I think that they don't provide living wages.
No type
And
of.
I think that's the biggest thing that is an issue in Will County, and I'm not seeing it being addressed.
Do you think that will improve with the increase in minimum wage?
$15 is better than 10,
Yeah.
but it's
than
still
8.
hard to live on.
Yeah, it's again, it's a start. It's not an absolute fix.
And on that note, though, negotiations are coming up, and you guys have an opportunity to do something about that. Just throwing that out there.
It's a fun thought, isn't
It can be done. Just have to do it.
it? Yeah, agreed.
Well, I mean, and because those are the people that it affects. And those are the people that's, that feel like, they're disenfranchised,
Right.
is those individuals. And they're human as well, you know. So the thing is, nothing that we have in our homes and our cars and our jobs, at our jobs, we wouldn't be able to have any of that if it wasn't for them. Unpacking the boxes, loading, unloading. I mean, it starts and it ends with them. So,
How it's amazing to listen to students who have graduated that either are living like 3 or 4 in an apartment, sharing a 2-room apartment, or they are living in a van because their student debt is so high that, and they can't really afford to live.
yes.
And that is, that's what you're saying. The pay is not covering things, and it's that's a crazy cycle. It's an unpleasant cycle. I cannot imagine graduating with the debt that these kids are graduating with.
Yeah, because it's all survival.
Right.
All survival. They're trying to, go to school, trying to survive. They're trying to eat, because if you're in school, you don't qualify for any of the other programs because, you're getting money from the government for the loans. So they figure that you can do everything off of there. So that's why a lot of the kids, they continue to get the loans because that's their way of surviving. Fortunate, because I was one of those people, 20 some years ago, and I'm still paying on my student loan. Even with a master's degree, it means nothing as, as far as debt, because I'm still paying on it. And I pay it every month, but it'll probably be another 10 years before it's paid off.
I was the first one in my family to graduate, and it took me so many years
Yes.
to get that crazy student loan paid off and all the deferments that I had to
Yes,
have.
man. I had a big D on my head. That was my thing, deferment.
Yeah.
But I had no other choice. But now, like I said, being able to pay it, but for years I wasn't able to.
Yeah, minimum wage when I graduated was $3.85.
Wow. Unbelievable. I don't want to go back that far. So let's see here. So you know what? How can your constituents get in contact with you?
I have a Facebook. It's the same as my email. It is elect Micah Freeman. Micah is spelled M-I-C-A, like your countertop. I'm shiny and flaky and durable and found in every household. So it's elect Micah Freeman. You can either find that on Facebook or my email at gmail.com.
Wonderful. And then just in closing, what would you want to share, with the constituents in this last big, 3 weeks before election? What would you want to share with them? The floor is yours.
Share with them that I am an average person. I was raised in a household with always 10 kids. I'm the youngest of 4 girls, and my parents took in foster kids. My father decided he wanted to take in the teenagers who had been bounced around the system. So by the time that my parents finally stopped, we'd had 18 teenagers come and live with us. And they are still part of our family. They come to Thanksgiving dinners. They come to Christmas. They come home when, their hearts are broken. They're family. I am as middle class as it comes, and I want to represent you. So go vote. Just go vote.
Great.
Right.
Anything in closing, Sherry?
Well, that's probably what I would have asked you too, but you do have opponents. So what makes you the one to vote for and not them?
My heart is for the people. And once I am elected, it's no longer about me. It is about them. And I will always encourage them to reach out to let me know what their problems or concerns are, because I can't represent if I don't have contact. I have been out talking to people as much as possible with COVID. And I tell them the same thing. If I'm elected, you please reach out. And if I'm elected, I will still keep going out and meeting people and talking to them and asking, what's your concern? Because if I don't, then I'm not representing anybody. I'm just going about my business.
Do you think it's important to have quarterly town hall meetings?
I think you need to be in touch with your constituents. If you do, I have been to a couple of monthly meetings with mayors, and it's like, I don't feel that a lot happens there and people aren't really engaged. But when you go to their house or to their community and you have that conversation with them, they're more open. To have to actually plan a time to go and sit at a breakfast at 9 a.m. on a weekday when most people are working. If you were going to have a town hall meeting, it needs to be in the evening.
Absolutely.
And it needs to be when the working people can actually be there.
I concur. Absolutely. Well,
Thank you for meeting with us.
definitely. We appreciate
Right.
you meeting with us, and good luck. You know, vote, vote, vote. That's the word, you know, on the street for everybody to get out there and vote. And we wish you the best.
Well, thank you. And I know you said you already did a get out
and vote.
to vote kind of thing.
Yes.
I saw earlier that Lauren Underwood had done a get out the vote event. I think it was just today. She invited a lot of people to come to a parking lot, and then they all marched together to the mailbox. And if you could arrange something that with all those people you've met,
Yeah.
even if it's a car parade, you know, you can,
Yes.
I think that would just be awesome. And I've never seen so many people working to get the vote out since like Clinton. So
Yes.
awesome.
Appreciate it. That's something to think about. That's
Yes, it
definitely
is.
something to think about.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Go drop your ballot off at the mailbox.
Yes. Definitely.
That be seen.
Yes.
Mm.
Well, thank you for that. We appreciate that.
No problem.
Well, have a wonderful evening, and we thank you for taking time out of your schedule to meet with us.
Thank you very much.
Okay? All right. Have a great evening.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.